It is the slowest first half in a new condo sales since 1997. Ontarian pre-con condo market is under major trouble right now. We have seen over 100 of projects being pushed away or delayed, which is impacting more than 20,000 units, which are expected to come in 2026. Now, in the first half of 2024, we have seen a decline of 57% in sales compared to last year and 72% in sales compared to 10-year average. So let's deep down inside and understand why it happens, and for the purpose of this, I have broken down this video in 3 segments. Number 1, why did it happen and what are the factors affecting it? Number 2, what is the current scenario in pre-con market? Number 3, how this will impact Ontario's ambitious project to build 1.5 million homes in next 10 years. My name is Parth and I'm a real estate agent based in Waterloo region. If you're new to this channel, welcome to my channel. The only thing I ask, if you like this kind of content, do me a favor, do like this and subscribe to my channel and share this with your friends and families. In 2024 alone, 50% of the development have a setback due to the increased cost in borrowing, construction, and the other factors affecting the market. Now in this video, we will explore the market dynamics, what are the risks and opportunities for investors, and what is the Ontario real estate future lies ahead with all these government policies and this construction cost. Now let's come down to our very first point. Why did it happen and what are the factors affecting it? Now before we do that, we need to understand how a pre-con project works from ground up. Now, usually a developer buys the land, applied for necessary permit required to build a condo in that particular place. After that is done, a marketing team comes into the place and sells the unit. Now, in order to meet a minimum thresholds to get or apply for a loan, it's 70%. A typical what we see in Ontario is a 70%. So the marketing team or the sales team have to sell 70% of the units in order to dig the ground. Now, once you understand this, you can understand unless and until a developer sells 70% of their unit before, they cannot start the construction of that project. Now, there are multiple reasons why these 70% sales are not happening as frequent as used to happen in last 2 decades. Now, let's discuss few of the reasons out of that. Now, in my opinion, there are 3 main factors which is affecting this. The very first one is the higher pricing or higher cost. The second one is the negative cash flow, which most of the investors are getting. And the third one is the type of the condos that developers are building right now. Now let's understand each of them in detail. So the very first one is the higher pricing. Now, if you compare any 2 or 3 year built condo versus the newer inventory we have right now, which is going to be a pre-con project, the price difference is very much in that. Now, here's the thing. Because of these 3 factors, there is a price difference. The number 1 is construction. Now, according to global news, residential construction prices have increased by 51% since the pandemic. Condo structural steel price have increased by 53%, which is a significant number. The other factors in terms of pricing is the logistic. We all know in pandemic what happens to the logistic and the supply chain, and everything is messed up, and whatever the remaining inventory is being sold at a really high price. The other factor is the shortage of labor, which intend to come down at a higher price. So whatever we are expecting or the developers were expecting the labor cost would be, it just shoot up and they didn't count it for that. The next one is the interest rate. Now, if you are someone who owns a house in the last couple of years, we all know how the variable affects our mortgages. And when you see this in terms of a developer, they have taken big loans like 30 million, 50 million, 100 million, and even a small quarter point uptake could lead up to hundreds and thousands of costs, which they may not have accounted for. The last factor in the cost is the tax increase. Now, there are development charges, there is land transfer tax. We have seen development charges going through the roof. In some municipality, we have seen like in last 10 years, over 800% shoot up in the development charges. And if you are someone who's buying in Toronto especially, the land transfer tax is much higher compared to rest of the cities in Ontario. Now, the second reason is the negative cash flow properties for investor and why they are not jumping into condo market right now. With this inflation, with the construction cost, how the condo market is priced at, it may not make sense for an investor to jump in that kind of property and have a negative cash flow. Especially like in Toronto, I was working with a client a couple of months back, and we were specifically looking for Waterloo and Toronto, how the cash flow works in that. In Waterloo, we are getting roughly about $600 to $700 negative cash flow for a condo property, whereas in Toronto, we are getting roughly about $1,000 to $1,200 negative cash flow. And most of the time, not many investors have that kind of pockets to go for $1,000 to $1,200 negative each and every month. And that's why I think like many investors right now defer to getting into a condo market because of this and so many uncertainties out there. The third factor is the type of the condos developers are building right now. Most of the condos that I see right now, it's not for families, it's mainly for a young a professional or a young couple. That's pretty much it. I would say like 70% of the condo project out of the building is like 1 bedroom or 1 plus 10, and most of them are roughly about 400 to 500 square feet, which is not much of a livable space. And especially after pandemic, everyone is like, not everyone, but most of the people is accustomed to more space, and with 400 500 square feet condos, it might not be possible. So this is something comes down to the lifestyle options, I would say, and not many people are opting or looking to go for those kind of small condos. Now let's discuss what is the current scenario in a new construction condo project right now. So in the first half of 2024 in the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area, we have experienced the slowest amount of sales happen in the last 27 years. Approximately less than 6,800 units being sold in the first half of 2024. Now this is a 54% drop compared to 2023 average, which is a whopping like less than half of sales happening, which is like, it's a huge drop, I would say. Now this significant slowdown is attributed to rising interest rate and economic uncertainty, which have dampened the buyer's confidence. Now, because of the sluggish sales cycle, what happens is like we have a pent up inventory, roughly about 15,000 units, which is like highest in a new project, which is like highest than 2018. Now, I know there are a lot of numbers in this one, but understanding this kind of trends could make you a better investor, and your next project could be an excellent ROI opportunity for you. Now, even after all this, if you are someone who is looking to become an investor or planning to invest in a condo market, here are the 3 quick tips I would recommend, and that's what I'm recommending to all of my clients right now going into a condo market, especially the pre-con one. So the very first one is a higher deposit or higher down payment. I understand it's a simple math, but this will, in the end, it will protect you so much, especially if you're going with a pre-con market. Most of the pre-con condos, they are looking for anywhere between 15 to 20%. Some do have like 10% deposit structure as well. But what I'm recommending to all of my clients is to go at least 30 to 35% in a pre-con project. I know to get like 10 to 15%, it's very difficult. And here I am asking for like 30 to 35%, which is like nuts, but this will really protect you in that. The second one is location. Don't fall for all that projects which does provide you a lower deposit structure or more incentives or things like that. Location will be the key, and it'll always be the key. So just invest in those kind of project where the location is 10 on 10, especially it's very important right now. The third factor is the pricing. Work with a real estate agent who understand what is the good pricing for that particular condo rather than looking for all the investment in incentive options. Now let's check out how this will affect Ontario's ambitious project to build 1.5 million homes in the next 10 years. So now with all of these things happening, many condo developers are pushing their project timeline because they are planning to have like a lower interest rate so they can have a more pool of buyer coming into the market and their inventory sells faster. And on the other end, there are some investors who are forced to delay the project. Now, out of this 1.5 million homes, more than 50% of these homes are allocated to Greater Toronto area. And I don't have an accurate number for this one, but I believe like out of them, 60% would be condo or more. And with the current dynamics, it's highly unlikely we will be able to achieve that 1.5 million homes in the next 10 years. Now let's take example of 2 cities, Kitchener and Toronto, how these projects is allocated, what are the number of houses allocated to each city, and look out the progress for that. So you can see over here, the Kitchener, they have the 10-year housing plan target is roughly about 35,000. And out of that, only like if you see in 2024, 40.33% is only achieved out of that. While on the other hand, Toronto does have a target of 285,000 homes out of that 1.5 million, the 10-year housing target. And you can see they have already achieved 55% of it, which is like, I mean, not good, but now most of us says, which means realtors says there is a shortage of housing supplies. And on the other hand, we see like developers are not going or not developing more projects or launching more projects. I mean, they have to, but because of all these factors, it's not possible for them. Now we see the real problem over here. It's like the way system is set up is like it's very difficult to afford a house because it's very difficult to make affordable houses. If we look at the catalog of the housing plan of 1.5 million homes, there are more proposed or incentivized changes that is mentioned in the catalog that could change or wrap it up. If you look at the Ontario's plan in detail to build as 1.5 million homes, there are few proposed actions which could lead to faster developments, but at the same time, interest rate, the construction cost, labor will be very crucial in order to get the affordable housing that we are looking for. What do you have to say about it? Comment below, and thank you so much for watching this video. And I hope you like this, and if you are someone who's looking to buy or sell anything in Ontario, let me know. You can book a one-on-one appointment with me. There's a first link in the bio. Thank you so much.